No war had as profound an effect on the technologies of our daily lives as World War II. The inventions of that conflict can be found in so much of everyday life, from computers to microwave ovens to the very way we wrap our food. Here is the remarkable story of how the deadliest war in history quietly built the modern world. The computer, from Bletchley Park to your pocket. From the machine this article was written on, to the processing power of a smartphone, modern computing would not be what it is without the innovation of the government code and cipher school at Bletchley Park. Colossus, the first programmable electronic computer, was originally invented as a way to speed up the cracking of Nazi Enigma codes. Meanwhile in America, the ENIAC machine at the University of Pennsylvania was being programmed by brilliant women like Jean Jennings Bardick, who went on to lead the development of computer storage and memory, and Frances Elizabeth Betty Holberton, who created the first software application. Lieutenant Grace Hopper of the U.S. Navy also programmed the Mark I machine at Harvard during the war and went on to develop the first computer programming language. Every laptop, smartphone, and tablet on Earth traces its direct ancestry to these wartime machines. The microwave oven, a melted chocolate bar, changed everything. This is one of history's most delightful, accidental inventions. In 1946, American engineer Percy Spencer was conducting experiments on a radar cavity magnetron device when he noticed that a candy bar in his pocket had melted. He realized the microwaves from the device had heated the molecules inside the chocolate. From this discovery, Spencer invented the first microwave oven, originally called the radar range. The first models were large and very expensive, but it took almost 2 decades for engineers to create the compact models that would become household staples. Wisdom Library. By the 1970s, the microwave oven had become a fixture in homes across the globe for its unmatched speed and convenience. Penicillin and modern antibiotics, the race against death. Penicillin was discovered in 1928 by Scottish scientist Alexander Fleming, but it was World War II that transformed it from a laboratory curiosity into a life-saving medicine. The drug proved invaluable on the battlefield, reducing pain, fighting infection, and dramatically increasing survival rates among wounded soldiers. The United States manufactured more than 2 million doses of the drug, in preparation for the Normandy landings alone. The U.S. War Department described the effort to mass-produce penicillin as a race against death. While penicillin itself is still used today, it was also the precursor to the entire range of antibiotics that now prevent simple infections from becoming life-threatening illnesses. Every antibiotic you have ever taken owes its existence to wartime necessity. Radar, in your phone, your weather app, and airport. In 1927, meteorologist Sir Robert Watson Watt helped form Britain's radio research station. As war gathered, the government developed a series of coastal radar stations that could detect and give early warning of German air attacks, proving decisive in the Battle of Britain. Live History India. Today radar is integral to air traffic control, weather forecasting, and even our smartphones. The GPS on your phone guiding you through city streets owes its origins to the radar systems developed during the war. The online books page. By the 1950s, radar had also become the key way for meteorologists to track rainfall and storm systems, giving us the daily weather reports we take entirely for granted today. The jet engine. Every flight you have ever taken. Frank Whittle, an English engineer with the Royal Air Force, filed the first patent for the jet engine in 1930. But the first country to actually fly a jet-powered aircraft was Germany, which performed a test flight on August 27, 1939, just days before the war began. Blogger. Jet engines came to the fore in the closing months of World War II, as both sides raced to give their fighters a decisive advantage. This technology, developed between 1939 and 1945, is now used by airlines to carry passengers all over the globe, making flying more accessible and affordable than at any point in human history. Encyclopedia Britannica. Every commercial flight you board is powered by technology refined under the pressure of wartime combat. Superglue. An accident in the weapons lab. In 1942, American chemist Harry Coover was working with chemicals called cyanoacrylates in an attempt to make a clear plastic to improve the sights on soldiers' weapons. The substance turned out to be impractically sticky. It bonded to everything it touched. The discovery was set aside as useless for weapons purposes. Superglue only resurfaced on the civilian market in 1958, a full 16 years after its initial accidental invention. Today it sits in nearly every home and workshop in the world, a failed weapons experiment that became one of the most useful adhesives ever made. Duct tape, the fix-everything invention. The United States military needed a waterproof, flexible tape that soldiers could use to keep moisture out of ammunition cases and make rapid repairs to equipment in the field. An Illinois factory worker named Vesta Stout, whose sons were serving in the Navy, came up with the idea of a cloth-backed waterproof tape. Convinced by the promise of her invention, she wrote directly to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Roosevelt approved it for mass production, and duct tape was born. Originally known as duct tape, for its water-resistant properties, It was a go-to solution for repairing military equipment and sealing ammunition cases. Today you will find it in every household, serving as a quick fix for everything from leaks to craft projects. The Jeep, father of every SUV. Desperate for a universally effective military vehicle, the United States military called on the nation's car manufacturers to submit designs. The vehicle had to be light and maneuverable, carry at least 3 soldiers, and be capable of traversing thick mud and steep gradients. The Jeep's design was so successful that it quickly transitioned from the battleground to civilian life. Its rugged, reliable character captured the public imagination, and today you will still see Jeeps cruising both urban streets and off-road trails, a testament to its enduring practicality nearly 80 years later. The entire modern SUV industry, every Range Rover, every Land Cruiser, every 4x4 on the road, traces its cultural and engineering DNA directly to the wartime Jeep. The ballpoint pen, the pen in your hand. Journalist and artist Laszlo Biro invented the ballpoint pen after seeing a type of ink in a printing shop that dried almost instantly. He enlisted his brother George, a scientist, and took out a patent in 1938. One of the ballpoint's first major customers was the Royal Air Force, which ordered 30,000 units for pilots to use at high altitude, where fountain pens were prone to leakage and smudging. The ordinary pen you pick up without a second thought was refined and popularized entirely because of the needs of wartime aviators. Synthetic rubber, in every tire on every vehicle. Rubber was a vital war material. Building a single military aircraft required about 1,000 pounds of rubber. A tank needed 2,000 pounds. A battleship required approximately 75 tons. In 1942, Japan seized the rubber-producing regions of the Dutch East Indies and the Malay Peninsula, cutting off America's entire supply of natural rubber almost overnight. The government had to act fast, and on a huge scale. Dozens of new synthetic rubber factories were opened across the United States, producing some 800,000 tons of synthetic rubber by 1944. Every tire on every car, truck, and bicycle in the world today relies on synthetic rubber chemistry developed under the emergency pressure of wartime supply crisis. Space exploration and rockets, from V2 to the moon. The V1, known as the Buzz Bomb, was an automatic aircraft, essentially a cruise missile, while the V2 was a ballistic missile that flew into space before falling on its target. Both were rained on London during 1944-45. The rocket team that developed these weapons for Germany under Wernher von Braun were brought to the United States after the war, settled in Huntsville, Alabama, and went on to build the rockets that sent American astronauts to the moon. Every satellite circling Earth today, every GPS signal, every piece of space exploration, all trace their origins to the V2 rocket built to bomb London. The flu vaccine, protecting millions every winter. The influenza pandemic of 1918 had devastated armies in World War I, and this memory motivated the U.S. military to develop the first flu vaccine in the 1940s. Scientists had begun isolating flu viruses in the 1930s, and the urgent pressure of wartime finally drove the research to completion. Every flu shot given every winter around the world is a direct legacy of military medicine born in the Second World War. The war killed an estimated 75 million people. But from that catastrophe emerged the computer, the microwave, the antibiotic, the jet engine, the GPS, the SUV, and the rocket that took humanity to the moon. The most destructive event in human history also, quietly and permanently, built the world we live in today.